Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rise and Grind with 72 the Architect, aka Jason B. And today we're going to get started with habits and possessions. What do they really say about us, and how the Stoics really posed some questions in the last few days, and what they thought, and what we should think about how we want to live in our lives with those exact things. So stay tuned here in just a moment. I'll be right back as I get everything going for here on Clapper and YouTube. All right, everybody. So good morning. Welcome back to Rise and Grind. And we're going to look at a few questions that have been posted in the Daily Stoic and what the Stoics really thought about those things with some of their quotes. So the first question is, do we understand what habits are, and how we look at habits form what we retain, our possessions, our thoughts, our home, our things, all that great stuff. So here's a few questions to think about. There's four distinctive questions. What can I pay closer attention to today? Right? That was oh wait, no, that was wrong question. Excuse me. I flipped to the wrong page. Okay, let's go back to the right page. Sorry. Okay. For what was it? Friday. Yeah. So the 12th through the 15th, these are some of the questions they were asked. What would happen if I responded in kindness no matter what? And there was a quote by Marcus Aurelius in Meditations 11.18. He talks about that. Second, he talks about also, or Epictetus, he poses the question, which bad habits are being fueled, or am I fueling? And yesterday, on Mother's Day, are my actions contributing to my well-being? And Marcus Aurelius talks about in Meditation 6.8. And then the last one, what blessings can I count on right now? Why are all these questions so important? And how do they relate to possessions? There was quite a few things that I reread, and evaluated on some of these questions and quotes that have passed for the last few days. But let's look at, for Mother's Day, what in the Daily Stoic, what Ryan Holiday happened to say. And his title was Our Well-Being Lies in Our Actions. He quotes Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations. He says that those obsessed with glory attach their well-being to regard of others. Those who love pleasure tie it to feelings. But the one true understanding seeks only their own actions. Think on the character of people who wish to please, and the possessions one means to gain, and the tactics one employs to such ends. How quickly times erase such things, and how many has it wiped away already? Now, right there, starting out the gate, Marcus really points out, find what you want. I'll find more likely the means in which you'll take to get whatever you want, whether it be wealth, whether it be a nice car, nice watch, admiration. And Ryan goes on to explain a little bit about this. He says, if your happiness depends on accomplishment of certain goals, right? What happens if fate intervenes? Those things that you didn't count on. What happens, or what if you're snubbed? That means someone got the job or got the position before you did. It's outside events that you didn't count on interrupt. What if you don't achieve anything or everything, but find out that nobody is impressed? All that work you did to say, like, the best thing I could relate to you is imagine putting a birthday party or a wedding, a family event. Mother's Day was just yesterday. Imagine putting that, so much work and decor, and no one says nothing. And it happens all the time. I mean, for most of us guys, we're like, look, where's the party? Where's the food? Let me chill. Let me be who I am. But when it comes to ladies, they put so much heart and soul into the optics. It's got to be like a fantasy and imagine it, a hospitality, right? But no one says anything. They said, "Oh, the food was good," but says nothing about the decor. Now, to the host, that might be considered offensive if you let it, right? But Ryan goes on to say that's the problem with letting your happiness be dear minded by things you cannot control. It's an insane risk, right? If an actor focuses on the public reception to a project, whether critics like it or whether it's a hit, there will be constantly disappointment and hurt. But if they love their performance and put everything they have into making it the best they're capable of, they will always find satisfaction in their job. Now, that's a real big key. Many people will preach, never be satisfied. I've seen it. I've seen it in a lot of social audio spaces. I see people trying to talk about it in motivational speeches. And motivation is like a firecracker to me. It's gone, pop, right? But when we look at these things, the critical thing is I want more than a pop. I need inspiration, a lot of people refer to when they have all the reasons inside them to do whatever they want or to attain what they want, but at what cost? Do you really want all that attention? Do you want to be an influencer? Do you want to be paid to do little? That's shortcut living. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be an influencer. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be famous or wealthy. No. But a lot of times what comes with that is hard work, strategy, emotional control, right? A huge thing. If you can't control your emotions, people will leverage you. Good morning, Flowers. How you doing? Good to see you. And think about this. And let's really go more into what's happening with all of us. How many of you complained about the government? How many of you have pointed out people like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk for your misfortunes or your not gains? And I've really got to I remember one time Gary Vaynerchuk put people on notice. You know, what does it say? Bruh, you can be a narrator or whatever it's called. Haha, you have a voice. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I could probably do that. But anyway, let's get back to really the focus. When we look at what we're motivated by or inspired and have a reason to do better for ourselves, is it short like a firecracker? But that's the thing. And when the last question I posed earlier, what blessings can I count on right now? See, that's the leveler. If you're always wanting more, what do you already have that makes you happy? Do you have a home? Do you have a car? Do you have things that let you function? Can you imagine? Let's imagine your car or your livelihood. Let's imagine those things were taken away. Could you still be thankful? Would you be distraught? Would you be crying? Woe is me. My life is yes, shit's messed up. It is messed up. But that will eventually fade away. Just like your anger. Your depression will fade away unless you constantly train it to be there. So we put a lot of effort into possessions and things that will be a representation of our hospitality, what we hold. I'm admirable. I'm good with me, boo boo. You know what I'm saying? But it goes more to it than that. But he goes on, he says, but if they love their performance and put everything they have into making it the best they're capable of, they will always find satisfaction in their job. Like them, we should take pleasure from our actions in taking right actions. Rather than be the results that come out of, our ambition should not be to win, but to play with our full effort. Our intention is not to be thanked or recognized, but to help to do what we think is right. Our focus is not what happens to us, but how we respond. Is in this, we will always find contentment and resilience. Whoa, that's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you why. Because when I asked a question just the other day, and someone was saying, this is what wealthy people do. And I said, okay, can you give me 5 examples where you have conversations with very wealthy people? And it was so intriguing because at the end of the conversation, they couldn't mention anybody. And or they'll say they have some kind of distant dialogue with someone famous. But if you ask that person, they probably like, who? What? We assume a lot on the outside. And these beliefs formulate habits. And this is why the Stoics really wanted to point out that the things that can help guide your actions to be a better person, right? That's what you really want. You want to be a better person. You want a better job, or you want a better position. You want wealth. You want all these things. You want to party like it's, like there's no tomorrow. Well, there comes a cost. You got to put in practice. You got to put in study. There are no such thing as shortcuts. There might be short stints, but more than likely, if you get a shortcut, there's going to be a big objection and a big obstacle, and it's going to be a test to your own person. And that's the thing about counting your blessings, right? I already enjoy a lot. Doesn't mean you can't have more, and doesn't mean you can't improve, but it really comes down to, what are you really telling people? Are you telling too much? You know, that one friend that's always like, oh man, I'm working on this project and I'm going to be a millionaire. No, 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 no. And you're like, dude, you're just talking. And then I would see these same people, like when I go on a Clubhouse or even here and create radios, and I'm working in the background, whether at my desk or on the road or talking to whoever. It's interesting to see that these people who brag so much really have so little. That's a fact. You cannot ignore this. So when I think about, how have I done this? Look in my own shoes. What am I good with? So Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations in book 11, posed 9 things that we ought to think about. And I'll just mention a couple because I want to save more for Wednesday when I come back on live. But I'll post 3. What is my relationship to people? Seems vague, right? What is it? What kind of people do you bring to your table? Right? We all talk about, show me the top 5 people. So many pass this philosophy or idea. Show me the top 5 people around you and I'll show you who you are. Show me your friends. I'll show you who you are. I'll show you how you act. There's much, much more to that than you realize. Right? And it's really interesting that it even goes more into detail. And the third question is, or statement, if people live right by right actions and choices, how do they react to disaster when right actions are not favoring you? You committed to something, you put your heart and soul, you put your guts into whatever, and plans fall through. What do you say now? Let's see, who's that? I can't read your name. It says, hello, Barry Meach. Hey, welcome on in. Thanks, appreciate it. Also, I'm live on YouTube, so if you want to make comments there, you can find me 72 the Architect, all one word, just like my name on Clapper. So if you want to check it out and you want to make comments, and I'll show your comments if they're appropriate on my live. But you can also find, if you didn't catch the full episode, that's okay. South Wales, thank you so much. Thank you for being an international listener. So let's get back into it. When you look at these things and you look at all your possessions, what do your possessions say about you? I got a nice car. I got a whole bunch of junk, right? We collect things, but we don't really put the emphasis on collecting experiences that make us whole. How many people have talked about diet, right? Just as an example, talked about diet, mental health. And I heard someone literally commit to a bad habit And I've seen it all. And catch yourself if this happens. When you meet someone brand new, what are the first things you tell them? I have ADHD. I have some mental illness. I'm going through shit. No one's asking you. It's like, I hate being the dad. Just don't do that. Don't give people leverage. Don't give people emotional leverage if it's unnecessary. If you're going to tell if you're going to give the game plan away to somebody, just keep it to yourself. It's like, imagine someone watching your favorite football team or sports team. Do you think the other coach is going to give the game plan about how his players are going to play against you? Is that not insane, right? People, somehow we have gotten to this place where we relate mental health as an experience, a tradable token that people are going to accept you. And guess what? They're not. They're not going to accept you as much as you think. Bullshit. And then when you have things that don't work out for you, and they're like, I can't believe you betrayed me. You know, it's like, wait a minute. I can't believe you did this to me. You did it to yourself. You opened your mouth. Like, I've seen two friends who got frustrated with each other, one being in comparison, and they've been going back and forth, and then their whole relation gone. Because one didn't know how to read the situation and the other got so triggered. And I've gotten triggered too. Don't get me wrong. What do you do with your triggers? And so there are 4 virtues that rule the Stoics in their actions. One is courage. What does courage say about me? I'm willing to say the things that might course correct my relationship to whoever I'm talking to when there is a misunderstanding. Discipline. I train myself to hold myself in a good regard before being impulsive and releasing information or reaction that does not belong to me, but it's doing justice for or injustice to somebody else. Like someone pisses you off, cuts you off on the road. You honk your horn. I've done it. Road rage, ready to get out. What the fuck are you looking at? You know, like, you ever seen that happen? Someone getting pissed off for literally 30 seconds of an action. If you weren't hurt, what then? Eventually, that emotion, as much charge and power as it has, will fade. So when you look at your habits on a daily, this is really what I want to encourage people to think about. When you look at your habits, treat yourself with some grace first. Give yourself some breath. You know, I have Lulu. Hey, Lulu, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. She says sometimes we can't handle everyone else's baggage, issues, and situations. Hey, Jason, thank you so much for coming by on YouTube. And here's my reaction to that, right? Here's my reaction. Politely excuse yourself. I had to tell somebody just the other day, I said, you know what? I asked you how you're doing. I didn't ask for your life story. Sounds rude, right? Sounds like, why are you being a dick? You're so mean to me.
Yes, I'm so mean to you. You little insignificant game.
Well, but shouldn't people care? Shouldn't people care about my feelings? No, I don't know what to do. Oh my God. Let me go involve my therapist. Let me go check my actions after the event's over. Okay. Pause, guys. Pause.
But you don't get that. A lot of us don't get that. And to respond to Lulu's comment, what you can do is like, you know what? Thank you very much. Or, sorry, man, this is way too much for me to handle. I'm not qualified to talk about this. Those are habits you can train. Like, look, I'm sorry, I just can't do it right now. I'm good. You know, hey, have a great day. And this doesn't mean that you're being an asshole. This means, and excuse my language, this just tells other people this is a social cue. You are being too much. Take time if life is bearing you with so many problems. And I've been there. Trust me, I have seen it where I've lost my car, lost everything I've owned. My kids don't even want to see me. Still struggling with some of that. Job's not paying what I thought it would. Why am I not gaining more traction in podcasting and broadcasting? And it really points out all that when I feel so overwhelming. I look at my surroundings, look at your place, look at how you live. Is your bed all a mess? You got a whole bunch of stuff in your room. Is your house trashed? Is there not good food and groceries in your fridge? Start taking care of the basic principles, right? That's number one. Number two, the self-talk. What are you telling yourself and you're telling other people? If you're leading with negatives, guess what, dumbass? You're going to be negative. Number three, what actions do you use to take care of your mind and body? If you're in a funk, go on a long walk. Take your time. Don't take your phone. Go somewhere in full of nature, right? If you can. A lot of us can't. Or go to a museum. We find things. What if it's late at night, Jason? There's plenty of videos to show you nature and just chill, breathe. Don't think. The thoughts, your anger, your anxiety will eventually fade. But if you feed it things like being on TV too much, being on your phone, complaining to others who have no power in the situation, guess what? Nothing's going to change. And it takes drastic measures to change. That's the truth. But then there doesn't. Sometimes just let things fall as they may. Let people show them who they are, as you've shown them who you are. And don't subscribe to these stupid beliefs. Like if someone says, as an example, once a cheater, always a cheater. No, there's things that I've done when I was young and I don't do it now. Sorry, I grew up, got a great woman I'm faithful and dedicated to, have a beautiful 5-year-old. Wasn't a great guy in my 20s and part of my 30s. And just people change. They change. Trust people to be themselves, but don't be so eager to correct them. Be mindful about the kind of advice you give them. And be careful of who you lend your flattery or your admiration out to. That could be something else also very important. So those are really my tips of the day. When we look at our habits and what we have, do they say more about us and our actions and our choices daily? And if you want them to get better, right? This sounds like a motivational, but this is Monday. How many of you are hating Monday? Oh God, I hate going to work on Monday. Bro, I'm not always the greatest on Mondays, but I'm not the worst. But I'm going to greet Monday. I'm greeting you all. And thank you for anyone who subscribes today. There is a donation process. If you want to donate the coins, the emojis, the peppers, the Lambos, whatever on Clapper, great. There's also a support, $5 helps me out because I'm also, when I share this information, I'm also a giver. I help people with certain things. Those who want a podcast, I help them out. So that's where the money goes. I don't use it for personal gain. I really don't, but it helps. So thanks for all those support. And if you're not a subscriber, shoot on over to YouTube and subscribe to 72 the Architect. And that will help me get to the next place that I want to be. Little salesy, pitchy, yeah. So the thoughts are today is what are your habits really showing about you? And are you overwhelmed in your possessions from your habits? Did you buy too much garbage that you're in credit card debt for? That you're ready to just toss all this stuff out? Or you don't have freedom to go create a vacation, right? Let me ask let's really dig in deep to some of you before I've got 5 minutes left on this show. Let's really dig in deep. How many of you have a vacation planned for your summer? What is a vacation? Look at that. And we're talking more than 2 days, not a weekend getaway. I'm talking a full week, right? I can't afford it. I've got too many bills. I'm too stressed. Work has me down. Work won't let me go. It's that time of year. You know? Thanks, Lulu. I saw your comment. I do. But when we really evaluate a lot of our life, it's like that quote, we spend so much of our youth. Hold on. Sorry about that. My alarm came on. We spend so much of our youth trying to be getting wealthy and having fun and partying. But when we get older, we will spend all of that for good health, for access, ability, experience. That's all you get. Do you think you're going to be able to keep your car forever? No, when you die, guess what? It goes to somebody else. You think you're going to be able to keep your house forever? Nope, it's going to go on to somebody else. That's reality. So why hold so much on the possessions and build on good experiences? Yesterday, I spent my early morning with my mother. I mean, she's a hard lady to get along with at times. But I told her, thank you. I didn't say too much. I said, thank you, Mom, for all what you've done. Simple as that. I don't want to go into long explanations because her and I, sometimes we battle. It happens. But there are times I realize that I'm a lot like her, and my dad. The other part was I spent time with my lady. We didn't have major plans, but spending time with my lady and my 5-year-old was very fulfilling to me. The only one that was missing, or two, was my other 2 daughters. And I would have gladly loved to have them with me, but it was Mother's Day and they needed to be with their moms. And by realizing the reflection of that time was worth it. But getting to the vacation question, yeah, I'm planning a week off. I'm going to go to Santa Barbara. I'm going to go to the Bay, San Francisco Bay. I live in Stockton, California. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to spend time just unplugged. Go have fun. Go hiking. Go eat some good food. See people smile. Be out in the sunlight. We spent all this time in the last 3 years. Many of us refer to COVID, right? As an example, they refer to COVID and they say, COVID did this to me. COVID did this for you, right? And when we look at that and we look at exactly what's happened, it did not take anything as much as you might think. Nope, sure didn't. So, closing thoughts of the day. I want you all to look at what you have and how you introduce yourself. So, let's call it some bad habits or good habits. Look how you introduce people, even to your closest friends. Do you want to show your cards of stress or show your cards of joy? Be curious. Do things for yourself, right? It's not all that deep. And before you start adopting mental health issues, see a licensed clinical professional that can work with you, and don't just hear on TikTok or Clapper, let me tell you about narcissism. Narcissism is this, and this is how you deal with a narcissist, as an example. Or I have ADHD because I do not know how to focus. Well, listen, fucker. There's things like such things as MTHFR, high metals, that affect your brain waves, affect your digestion. You wonder why you can't lose weight because you got adrenal gland fatigue. Yeah. Look into your health. If you got all this time to waste on flip, at least focus on things that will change your momentum of your life better. It's that simple. Trust me, I battle with it too. I take all kinds of things. I'm 50 years old and I'm enjoying it. I don't feel like I'm 50. I love life. Breathe, as Ralph White says, one of my favorite YouTubers. He'll say, breathe, deep divers, right? He says this, and I love his stuff. He's over in the UK, and he just reminds me to be present. Build the experiences now. Look at your possessions. Maybe get rid of some stuff. Create some more room. Look at your habits. And if you don't have that good habits, you said you're going to go to the gym. Okay, fat ass. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Get off your lazy ass and start walking. Start walking. Start getting out in that world. Get out of the box. Get out of your house. No one cares what you look like. No one is not going to criticize. And that's what the Stoics really talk about as I end. I think Epictetus, no, Seneca said it. If people suffer more in the mind than they do reality, that's the truth. Think about that. You suffer more in your illusions than what actually people have said to you. And then by the time people get say something to you, you're like, oh my God, I'm Groot. Why were you so mean to me? No, bro. Not today, Satan. Not today, not ever. That's right. I said it. Satan is your evil part of your ego. Don't worry about hell. Don't worry about heaven. Worry about taking care of the best you can today. Well, that's all the time that I have for Rise and Grind. Thank you for all your attention, your support. Check me out Wednesday between 7 and 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is, 7 a.m. East Coast time. That's 10 a.m. Eastern or 11 a.m. Eastern, because sometimes I got to work with my morning. That's right. I do my workout, meditation, reading, all before a lot of my friends in Cali are up, or a lot of my East Coast friends, they're already up and going. So build some momentum, change your habits, look at your possessions, create experiences. That was the main point for today. Love y'all. See y'all next time. Have a great day. Let's see where we at.